I'm going to be doing an iON sync install on these Topo ST5s. They have a stack height, I believe it's around 14 millimeter. Pretty light, lighter than you would expect based on like the photo you see online. And so we open up the kit and we're going to grab that block anvil, which is kind of what we prop the shoe up on upside down so that we can hole punch it from the bottom. And if we're looking at the instructions, we're wanting to install the plug somewhere in this midfoot location where it's kind of like medium to low impact. And based on the thickness of the shoe, I'm pretty sure we're going to be using a medium plug size, which calls for a 5 millimeter hole punch. So I'm grabbing the smaller of the two hole punches that comes in the variety kit. And I'm liking this spot right here in this recessed location in the middle of the foot. And I'm going to make sure that the plug gets installed like on this flat spot, not like on this little valley right here. And so I got the shoe balanced on the block, setting the hole punch on my location, kind of applying some pressure. I'm grabbing my hammer and just gonna punch a hole. There we go. And you can see the little piece that popped out, and that kind of gives us an idea of the thickness. And then also the kit comes with this hole gauge that allows us to kind of measure the depth of the hole. So what I do is I take the hole gauge and I insert it through the hole from one side, and then I kind of poke it through until it hits my finger on the other side. And when it hits my finger, I pull it out and kind of see what size it's calling for based on where this arrow lines up. And you can see it's kind of in between the blue and the green. The blue is medium and the green is large. But based on the material and like how dense it is, I'm feeling that it's pretty squishy, so that's kind of encouraging me to want to go with the smaller of those two sizes, which is a medium. So I'm going to take a medium plug and I'm going to insert it into the hole from the inside, just threading the tip of the plug through from the inside, and I'm going to start pulling that through from the bottom on the outside. And often you're able to pull this through with your hand, but for demonstration purposes I'll show how you can do that with a pair of pliers, and just kind of pulling that through until the barb gets pulled through like you see there. And now we kind of press the barb down into this shoe to kind of remove any of that stretch that we just incurred onto that barb and pull tab from pulling it through. And now the next process is kind of trimming it off, and I'm wanting to trim it flush with the tread. So for this you can use scissors, razor blade, or wire cutters. And I'm going to use these wire cutters for this, and I'm just kind of lining up the wire cutters with the kind of flush with the tread. And I always like to err on the side of leaving it a little bit long, because you can always trim more off, and you definitely want to make sure that it makes contact with the ground. If I'm looking at what I did there, it honestly looks a bit on the long side, so I'm going to trim a little bit more off. And that is the final product right there. And now I'm just going to run through this second pair with less description. So bouncing the shoe on the anvil block, and then setting the hole punch on the location, and then now we're going to grab a medium plug, feed it through from the inside to the outside. And right there I was able to do it with just my hand, because the material that's going through is just pretty much EVA foam. And then I'm going to use a different different tool to cut it this time, and I'm just kind of visualizing making it flush. It's a little bit hard to do with one hand with the bottom of the tread. That was a better tool that time. It made like a cleaner cut. And it's not the perfect cut, but as you wear the shoes over time, it's going to kind of wear flush with the tread. And there you got a pair of ion sync grounded Topo ST5s, 0 drop, 14mm stack height.